different situations or different parents that come to me as well, is that those parents who from the beginning discipline their children in such a way where there are restrictions at home, then it is very easy for those children to obey and not waste their time. For example, one parent I know, he turns off the Wi-Fi at home at 11 p.m. because they have homework. They come home after madrasa around 9 p.m. They come home, for 2 hours they can do homework, after that Wi-Fi is off. So you totally close the access to wasting time. This is a very small formula for changing. Secondly, from the very young age, Rasulullah ﷺ emphasized again and again to nurture your children correctly. From a very young age, let us get them in the habit of reading instead of social media, instead of being on these gadgets which are poison. Let them become bookaholics, addicted to books, addicted to reading. And let it be some novels as well. Let them read about Islam. Let them read about religion. You know, unfortunately, one of the reasons why our youngsters, I also go to university, one of the reasons our youngsters are misled in university is because in high school and the years before high school, no one ever objects to their religion because they're just young kids, they're enjoying life. When they get to university, people start objecting. Professors start burning down religion in class. And when the Muslim child who has no education about Islam hears this objection, he thinks the professor is correct and my religion has no answer to this, so he is misguided. So let them get into the habit of reading. Let them get into the habit of being attached to the local Imam, the local scholar. Unfortunately today, local scholars are not even considered respectful, sorry to say. They're just there to lead the prayers, give a few lectures, and then that's it. Let them get attached to these scholars. This evening madrasa, mashallah, which Shaykh Ali started, I was speaking to him before he started as well. Shaykh Ali started the evening madrasa here in Masjid Nabawiah. So for the young children, let them come to this evening madrasa. Let them learn from the Shaykh. Because most of them go to public school. I know it's difficult. We can't afford Islamic school. It sometimes becomes difficult. So let them come to the evening madrasa, take part, and educate them with Islamic religion. Another thing as well, parents at home. We should have books of ahadith, books of seerah, the life of Rasulullah, which we should read. Let them have a bedtime story from a very young age, until they reach, even in their teens and 20s, even before they get married off. Let us read a few ahadith of Rasulullah before they go to sleep. So they end off the day with learning something about their religion, reading about the life of Rasulullah. So it kicks them again, and it gives them that reminder that, listen, this is what you're here for in this world, this is your purpose, and this is what you're supposed to do. Otherwise, they'll just be like every other youngster that's out there. This is very, very important, and more than the child, it is the parents' role. Because they don't know. He might be 10 years old, how much does he know? How does he know social media and games and Call of Duty and PS4 and all of these things are harmful for him? These things are so harmful, you can't even imagine. So let them have different other activities which will allow them to not waste time on these games and these different devices. Take them outside, let them involve themselves in sports, at the gym, different activities and things like that, so they don't have to waste their time at home on these different devices and things. We have to train them from this young age to be responsible. The reason why they won't be able to work for a boss is because they were considered themselves the bosses their whole life. How can I take someone telling me to do this and that? When their parents would tell them to do this and that, they would reply with a shut up or something like that. Because they weren't brought up properly. So if they were brought up in a way to respect others, to have respect and honor others, and to be responsible, then they will be able to go and work for someone, go and make a living for themselves. And this is why most youngsters struggle in university. Most youngsters struggle in university because if you find out how much time they're wasting, it is incredible. You have 30-year-old gamers nowadays. Look at the sad situation we're living in. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all. It's a very, very important role. There are certain books that are written on this as well. We should get a hold of these books. Not on my mind right now some of the titles of the books. Parenting goals and different ways how to do parenting. And if we look at different successful people, worldly wise, successful people, if you look at their lives, Bill Gates and others, for example, their habit is reading a book a week, minimum. 7 days they finish a book. Some, every day they finish a book, 200 pages, 300 pages. So if they get in the habit of reading books, of learning from others, of sitting in the company of elders, sitting in the company of those with experience, learning from them, inshallah they will become coolness of our eyes, which the Quran says. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to practice, inshallah.